Hi, this is Mr. Fleming, and this video is for my Art 1 Studio class. In our class, we've been working on perspective drawing, and we did a one-point perspective drawing, and we've been working on two-point perspective drawing. Now, the quarter closed last Friday on the 20th, and so the next project will be in the next quarter. The first grade for the next quarter will be a sketchbook grade. And I want to stress this a little bit. I'm looking for some real time being spent in your sketchbook. I am looking for process. I'm looking for you to take your project and to evolve it to different levels of sophistication and development. And we should know what we're doing at this point. We've got several projects behind us, and we want to use all these tools. So let's just go through a little bit the process. We have talked about this in class. The first step is to create a thumbnail. And I understand it's a little light there to watch it, but you can see I have several drawings, both vertical and horizontal. I'm going to key on this one. Now, I took this drawing from a Google drawing. I just put in birdhouse, two-point perspective, and I got some images. And I know a lot of you do that also, and I want to stress that's not necessarily a bad thing, but what I do want to stress is that you have to change it. So I took the drawing, and this is what I came up with as far as working out my perspective. And really, I just shifted the foreground really up front and made a variety of different birdhouses going into the back space of my drawing. Now, that's one set of roughs that we have to do. Now, on the other hand, we also have to do color studies, all right? So over here, I have the same thumbnails, the birdhouses, and all I'm doing is just checking out different color systems and which ones I like and how I want to do it. And once I choose one that I kind of like, and I kind of like this one, I'm going to play with the colors a little bit and see what they look next to each other. Of course, I have a cardinal I want to put in the foreground, the yellow sunflowers, but I like this brown and red. But that's only going to come about if you experiment in your sketchbook. You try yellow against green, red against green, brown against yellow, yellow against red. It is that process that I want to see where you work out your design, your composition, and you include color as part of it. So we have the roughs here in pencil. We have the roughs here in color. And then we have a prototype for a rough as far as what I can use. At this stage, I can use this and my other drawings as part of it. Now, the drawing I want to use is this one, which I have, which is my cardinal. And I'm going to put that in my foreground, and I'm going to start working with color. So this is what I have so far. And you can see I put my cardinal in my foreground. I put my birdhouse directly in the foreground. And now I'm trying to fade the color to develop a sense of atmospheric perspective. So we use color in our first project. We all have an understanding of color and color systems, primary, secondary, analogous, complementary. You may use whatever color system you want or design your own, but have a color test. The second project, we use gradation of tone to create volume and space with gradations. And you can see here I've done this. It's not a fish, it's a bird, but I am shadowing it and creating volume. The intensity of color is more here than it is here and less there, and I'll lose my intensity of color to help further that space. I also gave myself a border, and I've asked for that only so I don't have to put tax into your drawing. It just leaves a little space. And I am working on Bristol board because I like that. But you can see that this is really the same size as my sketchbook. That question has been asked, and the answer is yes. If you want to keep all your work in your sketchbook, certainly this year, I think that is a reasonable request. But I am looking for final draft quality. As far as you and the class, I do not want a final draft in after the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm looking for 6 hours worth of work in your sketchbook. Now, I know I draw a little bit more than most of you, only because I like drawing, but I've got to kind of stress this, that you are students, and we have expectations that you are devoting a certain amount of time to this subject, and it is that sketchbook that I'll be really judging. Now, we will be going to a final draft in this, but the process and the evolution of your composition and design is really what we're focused on. So when you come back from Thanksgiving, I'm looking for your two-point perspective drawings to be in a rough stage with thumbnails and color studies and from there we'll build on a final draft. So I wouldn't expect you to come in necessarily with a piece quite this evolved, but you should have a plan for color, and a plan for design, and you should know whether it's going to go horizontal or vertical, but you should have a plan for action. You should enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday and get some good rest, and that is also a priority. So to you and all your families, happy Thanksgiving, and God love you all. Make art, because art won't make itself.